Hey everybody, welcome back to The Save. We just had an awesome pay-per-view, Extreme Rules. Really good show. Got a 98A. If you haven't watched it, watch that, or you'll see some spoilers. But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into Monday Night Raw with this episode. Pretty special episode. Alright, so we're going to start the show off with the WWE Champion, the still WWE Champion, Kofi Kingston. He has a tear in his eye as the crowd cheers him on following a massive street fight victory over CM Punk last night at Extreme Rules. He retained his title, of course. Kofi said it's great to be here on Raw. You know, he riles up the fans, and he ends it with pretty much saying wrestling has become awesome once more. But as soon as he says awesome, almost on cue, that's when we have The Miz enters. The Miz losing to Randy Orton last night, and he doesn't look any more happy about it. He's just ranting and raving about Randy Orton, something about destiny, and wanting a shot at the WWE title. Then, glass shatters. The Raw GM, Stone Cold, comes down. He says he talked with the champ, he points at Kofi, and he says that the two have organized a miniature tournament to determine a number one contender. We have 2 Fatal 4-Way matches tonight and a one-on-one match tomorrow. So essentially there's a Fatal 4-Way. Like I said, there's 2 Fatal 4-Ways, and whoever wins those Fatal 4-Ways, the next week will go on to have a one-on-one match for the number one contendership. And the 2 Fatal 4-Ways are Miz, Punk, Jericho, and R-Truth. And then the other one is Morrison, Randy Orton, The Big Show, and Wade Barrett. And that's the bottom line, because General Manager Stone Cold said so. And he throws a beer to, he gets a beer and he throws one to Kofi just for this hell of it. So yeah, a nice little lighthearted episode opening to Raw. And we have some tag action, I believe, here first. Yeah, we have a tag action between Zayn, the former tag champs, taking on the Wyatt family, Rowan and Harper. It kind of degrades a little bit. You know, it takes a little bit for Kevin Steen and Sami Zayn to power out. You know, that they're more bigger opponents in Rowan and Harper. But eventually, Kevin Steen picks up the win with a package pile driver for the win. And the former tag champs are victorious. But as we cut to the next segment, the new tag champs, the Motor City Machines, come out. And the Motor City Machines said, you know, rumor is backstage that, you know, we heard that you guys are going to be cashing in your WWE title, your tag team titles, your rematch clause at Over the Limit, our next pay-per-view in 4 weeks. And we're fine with that. You know, we don't got nothing to prove against you, but, you know, we're still fine with that. And then Kings of Wrestling come out, Antonio Cesaro and Chris Hero, and they're pretty pissed. They're like, you know, that was pretty bullshit. You know, how come, you know, these guys get to have matches on, and we're former tag champs, and we don't get a shot? And Motor City Machine Gun says, you know what? We don't care. But if it's okay with Zayn, next week, why don't we have a big fatal 3-way and defend the titles? Zayn can get their rematch, you get your rematch, and we'll put the titles all on the line. And Zayn agreed to it. Kings of Wrestling agreed with it. So another match for next week. It's KOW versus Zayn versus the Motor City Machines. Tag team titles on the line. And then we have Randy Orton and CM Punk are backstage in 2 different respective matches. And Randy Punk is sitting there and Randy Orton just says, he wishes him good luck in this Fatal 4-Way match. And CM Punk's kind of taken aback. He's like, well, you know, that's nice. And then Randy Orton quickly says, I want to wish you good luck because I want to be the one that personally punts you in the skull next week on Raw. And then he immediately walks out. And you can tell Punk's pretty pissed off that he said that. You know, no love lost between these two. And up next, we have a big battle royal, a mayhem match. If you don't know mayhem match, in the terminology I found in the game's default matches, it's a battle royal, but with pinfall or submissions. Multiple women are in it. And the winner of this match will receive a Divas title a match at TV at some point. It wasn't specific. It's not like Money in the Bank where you just get it, you gotta announce it. But, this is for a Divas title match. So I guess I wouldn't call it number one contenders, but just, a battle royale for a title shot. And that match is up, and it gets a 77B. And a poor man, really, whatever. Some of the women I knew would drag it down. In the most match, what's it called? Beth Phoenix won a 10-woman battle royale mayhem in 20 minutes, 11 seconds. The other members of the Final Four were Nikki Bella, Katie Lee, and Alicia Fox. Nikki Bella being the final elimination. Alicia Fox got the most eliminations over the course of this match. I didn't even book this. I just decided, what's it called? It kind of helps, actually. It unintentionally did something. So Beth Phoenix, though, I won't spoil anything, but Beth Phoenix, all I gotta say, has earned herself a Divas title shot. The other women were Alicia Fox, obviously, Beth, the two Bellas, Brie, cheerleader Melissa, so the Photoshop was in full display, Gail Kim, Katie Lee, Kelly Kelly, Michelle McCool, and Sarah Del Rey. But again, Beth Phoenix getting that match, so we'll have to book that at some point. Alright, we have the first of the Fatal 4-Way matches of the number one contendership. We have Randy Orton, Morrison, The Big Show, and Wade Barrett. And for the most part, it's just Randy Orton clearing house. He's able to knock The Big Show out. He's done that before, so it's not that surprising. John Morrison's flippiness is neutralized, and Randy Orton's able to brawl toe-to-toe with the bare-knuckle brawler Wade Barrett. But at some point near the end, CM Punk runs and just hits a massive roundhouse kick on Randy Orton, allowing another member, being The Big Show, to get in and win the match. He should be defeated Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett didn't want to win. That's probably why the match did. A broken... What the fuck is that? So Wade Barrett... what's it? Not Wade Barrett. John Morrison has been injured with something. But, The Big Show picking up a win here. Against Morrison, Orton, and Barrett. So yeah, let's see, what is his injury? Sorry, the injury is cuff guard. God damn it, he botched and got Morrison hurt. So there's that. And after the match, Punk gives Orton the GTS, allowing Miz to come down to ringside, helping beating up Orton. Just the two men just beat up. The Miz clearly beating up Orton because of that match last night, but Punk seemingly taking offense to that insult earlier in the night, and they just beat down on poor Randy Orton to end that segment. But we do go backstage, and we have Bray Wyatt, everyone's favorite bearded monster. Wade sits with members of the family, rubbing their heads after losing to Zayn, clearly taken aback by their loss. And Wade Barrett says, Sami Zayn, Kevin Steen, you, the audience, cheer them as gods for the awful things they did to my brothers. But what if I told you a secret? They're not from here. If I were to tell you that they were of foreign blood, would you still cheer? Where were my cheers? Where were my cheers as I sent Roddy Piper, the Scotsman, trying to invade your so-called shores to the fiery pits of the nether? I defended your people, but I'm always the bad guy. Fine, I'll be the bad guy. Next week, I want an all-American hero, someone who'll stand up to the bully, to the big, bad monster. Try and free the world. Bray Wyatt laughs maniacally as the segment ends. So Bray Wyatt's looking for a challenge. He successfully defeated Roddy Piper, ending his career pretty much, almost murdering the poor man. Not like Cena Rock levels. That's how we're gonna rate all our beatdowns on Cena Rock levels. Since Cena's pretty much murdered The Rock. We don't know if he's actually dead or not, but we have literally not heard from The Rock in a while, so that's always concerning. And then we have a 6-man tag match between Ezekiel and the World's Greatest taking on the Shield. And the Shield pick up the win after Dean Ambrose hits Charlie Haas with the Dirty Deeds. The Shield in fine form. Any improvements? Yeah, there's improvements across the board. Mainly Roman and Dean. Seth is the star right now of the Shield in terms of ratings, but I want to get them all over. But, the Shield picking up a nice win against the mid-card tag team scene. And, of course, there's Ezekiel. Ezekiel's kind of lost his way as of late, but, what can you do? And then we have our next Fatal 4-Way, going to be Punk, Truth, The Miz, and Chris Jericho. And, that sounds like a really good match. R-Truth's there. He's the upper mid-card, so you got to give him credit. But, The Miz, Jericho, and Punk, all great performers on their own. But there can only be one winner tonight, and that winner is going to be Chris Jericho. He defeats Punk, R-Truth, and The Miz. He defeats R-Truth with the Walls of Jericho because Randy Orton comes in and attacks Punk and The Miz. So Punk and The Miz eating RKOs as Jericho taps out the good old R-Truth, earning his shot at the #1 contendership. But you have to realize the two people who are going to wrestle next week are Jericho and The Big Show. They're a tag team. They're friends. What does that mean? And we end Raw with a stare down. Jericho staring down Kofi Kingston and each other. There can only be one. Friendships are going to have to be put aside as Jericho and The Big Show fight. And we end the show here with a 92. I thought that would have done better. Probably the first Fatal 4-Way with just The Big Show kind of shitting the bed. But yeah, again, all for stories. I literally every time I get a bad rating, I'm like, the ratings don't matter. But clearly I'm hurt. I want to get 99s every show, but I just don't want to show it. But anyway, a great Raw, in my opinion. I'm loving the story buildings we got some matches next week. Jericho and Big Show. Only one can wrestle Kofi Kingston. Bray Wyatt wants a hero who's going to step up to the plate. We got, the Kings of the tag team triple threat. That should be good. Got a lot of matches up, so I'll see you for SmackDown. And should be coming out shortly.